Bluff City Media presents the Two Buck Sports Show. Stepping up to the microphone are your hosts, Drew Gann and Rusty Witten. Now, let's get to the show.
What's up, everybody? Back like a bad cold. Yo, boys, the Two Buck Sports Show is live on your Thursday lunch break on the heels of a great Memphis Grizzlies win with a lot of Memphis Grizzlies news to get to. But you know we got to have some tomfoolery first. And so, speaking of tomfoolery, I welcome my co-host, Uncle Buck, Drew Gann, to the show. How are we doing today, sir?
Yeah, I was starting to wonder if you forgot about me. We were just going right into the segment. But no, I'm here. I'm here playing daddy daycare today. My youngest daughter got sent home yesterday from school. And so I'm staying home today, working from home. And luckily, she's just kind of got one of those little bitty things. And so she's just been playing and I've been working and we've just had ourselves a day.
I like it, man. It's nothing like a little daddy-daughter time, even when she's not feeling the best. Hopefully, speedy recovery to little Miss Jenny. Hopefully she bounces back quickly. It's the nice thing about being young is you can. Us old folks, it would take a while.
Oh, yeah. I've currently got her. This is her room, the nursery, the door right here behind me. And so I've got her locked in there, forcing her into a nap. So if you see that door come off the hinges in a minute, she's not asleep.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you the sign, like, hey, right, like,
yeah.
you got a terrorist on loose behind you back there.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else would agree with me or not, but I rotated that lock so it locks from the outside. So she's not getting out. So I don't know what y'all's thoughts are, like parents' rights to imprison their kids within their own house, but I'm pro.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, dog kennels double as kid kennels when you really need it. Says the man with no kids.
Our moms used to lock us outside, not in our rooms. We wished that we could be locked in our rooms.
Yeah, mama said, I need to clean. Y'all go and chain yourselves outside. And we'd waller around in the dirt for a while.
Yeah.
But thank y'all for joining us here. If you're on Twitter, thanks for tuning in. Hop over to YouTube. That's where the comments always get off. Thank you for being here. King Meeks and Wayno. Everybody being here, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, subscribe, follow us on Twitter while you're watching this, even if you stumble across it on accident. I promise we're somewhat entertaining. In the end, come join us on YouTube. Subscribe to Bluff City Media. Turn notifications on so you know when us buffoons are talking and when people who are way smarter than us on this network are talking. But speaking of smarter than us, we're going to dive right into some tomfoolery. We have a bumper video for you coming up. Oh my goodness! There you go, King Meeks, and I'm calling you the GOAT, and you got Uncle Buck. I get it.
I got to say something real quick, Kirk. I appreciate you being in here again. This is like 2 times.
Let's go.
I don't know if you're trying to put an emoji or a picture or a GIF or something here, but we don't see it. So use words, buddy.
Listen, we appreciate the support. He's from Kasuth, where mostly we communicate by grunts and nods, so that's all good, man. Thanks for being here, sir. But we'll see you on the other side for our first segment of our Real versus Counterfeit Thursday edition. We're so fancy, man. We're so fancy with it.
Do we still get silly with it?
Jiggy with it, silly with it. I don't know. What are we doing? We steaky leg? I don't know what we're doing now. Apparently we're twerking. That's been a thing this week on the Bluff City Media family of network shows. So it is what it is.
Kirk, I appreciate the text version of the gift that he sent. He said it's a moose.
King Meek thought it was a crab, so there's that. So thanks for hopping in. But this week on our Real versus Counterfeit segment, we're giving you our best sitcom quotes. We are both fans of comedic. Wrong one. Of comedic cinema.
It's also true, considering
apparently,
the wrong
that's
button.
it. Again, you gave me the keys to a spaceship, and I'm over here trying to run this thing, and we're driving into the ground. But we're fans of comedic cinema, especially syndicated TV shows that run on forever and have a bunch of great one-liners. Yes. And I will concede the floor to Uncle Buck first. You go right ahead, sir. I'll let you lay out our first Real versus Counterfeit.
Yeah, so I tried to tie these in with like real or counterfeit. It's kind of like a bold statement that we kind of have a dialogue about. So I kind of went with like a life advice kind of thing with my quotes, my sitcom quotes, my favorite sitcom quotes. And so you can tell me if you take this advice or you leave it, real or counterfeit. I'll start with my favorite recently. I've just gotten into Modern Family. Phil Dunphy is one of my favorite sitcom dads now. And he says that success is 1% inspiration 98% perspiration, and 2% attention to detail. Real?
Very real. Like, it's like, it also harkens back to Duck Dynasty. When you don't know what you're doing, it's best to do it quickly. And so, like, you don't need detail, you don't need focus, just do it quickly and you'll be fine.
98%, 1% inspiration, 98% perspiration, and 2% attention to detail.
I love it, man. I love it. The attention to detail speaks to my soul. I like that. So I got some life advice for you as well, along with our audience here. And I think our audience is a group of very smart individuals, guys and girls alike. We're intelligent people on that side of the screen, not on this side of the screen.
Which makes me question that side of the screen as well.
But one of the GOAT television characters of all time, in my opinion, is Ron Swanson. Love everything Ron Swanson. Like, love all things Ron Swanson. If you know, you know. Parks and Rec fame. So, Drew, let me ask you this: real or counterfeit? Any dog under 50 pounds is a cat, and cats are useless. Absolutely real or counterfeit?
Real. That's real. That's absolutely real. Because, listen, it comes with, like, for me, anything under 30 pounds, the bark sounds like a yap, and a yap makes me want to put a foot through them.
Yes,
you know what I'm
agreed.
saying? Like,
and I live with one. My roommate has a 13-pound dog that craps in the floor every day when I come home. I got 2 turds in there waiting on me. And it's like, my 14-month-old Doberman doesn't even do that.
Yeah. So, me and Rusty, we've talked about it a lot. We're synced up with our haircuts. I'm going tomorrow. He went today. Ted got one today. And she said, he is the best dog. I said, yeah, he's like a human. And it's because he's big enough to actually think he's a human.
I mean, I
don't want a dog that acts like a dog. I want a dog that acts like a human.
Couldn't agree more. Small dogs and cats, counterfeit. Thumb down. Don't like them.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with my guy from New Girl. Sometimes my spirit animal, like my dark side, is very Nick Miller. Okay,
Absolutely.
like my bachelor side is very Nick Miller. And he says, you treat an outside wound with rubbing alcohol, and you treat an inside wound with drinking alcohol.
Absolutely real. It's the
science.
Best salve for the soul is brown liquor, not clear liquor, but brown liquor is the best soul salve that is out there. Absolutely real. Yeah. Cousin Kirk agrees, can confirm, and he's the law. He is the Mississippi Highway Patrolman. He is the law, and he agrees that is accurate.
If you ever get pulled over by a guy that's got Gibson, and he'd be like, you know them $2? And you'll probably get out of it.
You might, or it might be double.
Carrying like some baggies or something.
Yeah, or you might get double. You never know. So, all right, this next one ties into one that I was going to bring in today anyway, because if you know me at all, you know I'm a morning person. I tried for years to get my co-host here to come to the gym with me early in the morning before work, and it worked a handful of times. But I am also
on a hot streak for a minute.
Yeah, not a boy. Well, I'm also. Oh, you did. Actually, you did for about 2 weeks, maybe 3.
No, you're underselling me. It was like a month and a half.
Yeah. Anyway. So, like Michael Scott, there's 2 sides to every coin, right? Early birds and night owls. And like Michael Scott says, I am an early bird and a night owl. So I am wise and I have worms. So, Drew, is it real or counterfeit to be that being a morning person is better?
It is real that you are a night owl and you have worms. I can confirm that. Yeah, I kind of feel like I try to toe the line, but I don't think you can be both. Like, I think, like, to quote the great Ron Swanson, you never whole ass 2 things, whole ass 1 thing.
One thing, that's it. That's it. So, that's all you got to say.
It kind of goes with the morning person and late night owl and early bird.
Early bird,
man.
That's like marble mouth over there. But I'll say this. I have been more of a night person in the last year than I have my entire life. You used to make fun of me for staying up or going to bed and missing the end of ball games, and I have seen the end of more Grizzlies games since this. But anyway. Yeah.
And so Kenny's in the comments here. Uncle Buck knows this. Once you have kids, it doesn't matter if you're a morning person or not, which takes me to my next quote. Nick Miller. I like getting older. I finally feel like I'm aging into my personality. I always felt like an old man. I've never liked the trends of the youth as I was a youth.
I've always been Clint Eastwood on the front porch with the coffee, just snarling at people. Ever since I was young, my mom always said, "Rusty, you have an old soul," and that was her way of telling me that I was boring growing up.
That's basically it. You got one more?
I do. So speaking of kids, one of my all-time GOAT shows is Home Improvement with Tim Allen. It was the one night growing up that we didn't eat at the kitchen table on Tuesday nights. We'd eat on TV trays in front of the TV. And Tim Allen is talking to his son, Brad, Zachary Ty Bryan, who's of recent fame.
Are you thinking Jonathan Taylor Thomas?
No, Zachary Ty Bryan got arrested in Myrtle Beach last week.
I did not even know that was that kid's name.
Yeah, so that's Brad. Anyway, he's talking to him. He said, kids turn into their parents one day. I don't know what it is. You're just going to wake up one day and be me. And Brad says, boy, I'm going to need a lot of health insurance. And so is it real or counterfeit that we turn into our dads as we grow up?
There's worse people I could turn into. And I've been told every step of my life, like, you're just like your dad. So I'll let you know. But it seems to be going that way. I can tell you, I'm already getting sick of being in noisy rooms. So
I can't tell you how many times I've said something and thought to myself, that is Rocky Whitten speaking right now, which is my dad's name's Rocky, which is an all-time name. And like, I can't tell you how many times I've had to call him and be like, Dad, you were right. And every single time without fail, he goes, well, how'd that taste?
All right. I've got one more. And this is the one I'm most passionate about. This is went a little long, but we'll be brief in the other segments. This is the one I'm most passionate about. And it's another Nick Miller quote, because I told you, Nick Miller is my spirit animal. And he goes on a rant about whether or not you should wash your towels or not. And I'm just going to play it for you because I can't do it justice. So here is Nick Miller talking about whether or not you should wash your towels.
What do you mean? How do you think this is your towel? Do you even wash it? No, I don't wash the towel. The towel washes me. Who washes the towel?
You never wash.
You wash your towel? You never wash the towel? What am I going to do? Wash the shower next? Wash a bar of soap? You got to think here, pal. I'm furious.
What? The towel washes me. What am I going to do? Wash the shower? Wash the soap? No. I get out of the shower clean, and the towel wipes me off. I'm clean. So I will use a towel 5-6 times in a row.
Yeah, at most it's 4 for me, dude. I wash towels all the time. And that's on a stretch. Like, I'm usually washing a towel like every couple of days, and I've got several I cycle through. I am a big towel washer. But you know what they say about towels is they have a real dry sense of humor.
No, they don't. They have no sense of humor. Shut up. That's such a stretch here.
No, it's not. That was good. Get out of here.
That was your worst one yet. You've had some really bad ones.
You were the worst one yet. That's all I got to say. Thanks for playing along with our. Yeah, we got a parrot head comment.
Somebody know my dad?
Somebody knows Andy Gann.
Does Meesy Peasy know my father? We were just talking about him.
Is that Andy Gann? Oh my gosh. Yeah. Also, the Nick Miller, like, we could do a whole Nick Miller episode. There's so many great quotes. My all-time favorite, if we're supposed to talk about feelings, they could be called talkings and not feelings. And so we'll leave you with that. Thanks for putting up with our buffoonery today. If you'd like to sponsor that segment, it's a good one. Let us know. There is room on the video. But the reason everyone is here now. Said in the title of the episode, the Memphis Grizzlies are going streaking. We're on a 4-game win streak.
Boogity, boogity.
Yeah, against
boogity.
Some...
And he ain't wearing no clothes.
I did not have Ray Stevens on my bingo card for this show today, but here we are. Against some of the lesser competition in the NBA. We will put that caveat out there, but it doesn't matter because we're winning basketball games. And right now, that's all that matters for the Grizzlies. We won last night with a big victory over the Charlotte Hornets, at one point leading by 35 points before we went into snooze fest and coasted to the end of the game to win by 12 points. Uncle Buck, high-level thoughts of the game last night. What stood out to you first?
Yeah, I mean, first off the top rope was Brevin last night to start the game when Pete was just trying to set the table and try to give us things that, statistics to see if they would play out in the game. And Pete said that the Charlotte Hornets are second in the league in offensive rebounding. And Brevin said, yeah, because they missed a ton of shots. And boy, they missed a ton of shots last night. Listen, the Grizzlies played really well. I've got some thoughts on the style of play. that it's just totally thoughts because I tried really hard to back it up this morning and I don't know how to work stats online. Can't find them. So I thought they played really good early on. Desmond Bain got into a groove early on. Jalen Wells continued just being an absolute pest, which is we've got to come up with a nickname for Jalen. And I know there's always – I remember when Vince Williams bust on the scene, there was this whole narrative. Like everybody was trying to figure out Vince Williams' nickname. And nobody's done that for Jalen Wells yet. So I kind of want to champion that. We'll come up with a good nickname for Jalen Wells. And, it's just a solid game. They got out to a big lead. And they did exactly what I did while watching the game is they lost interest. I mean, you're up 35. You're playing against Charlotte. You're at home. You're thinking about what you're going to have after the game tonight as you're driving home. You're going to go get Wingstop. You're going to run through Rendezvous. What you're going to go eat somewhere nice. That's what they started thinking about. And They lost track of the game. And it didn't even matter because they were up 35 points.
Agreed, man. It didn't matter what happened in that second half because when you have that commanding of a lead, it's hard to give up. We'll get to Jalen here in a few minutes. We got a whole segment we're going to talk about him. I'm thinking about nicknames now, something to do with like the number 0 and a void. There's got to be something there that could work, but we'll keep thinking about that. If you got a great one, put it in the comments, put it on Twitter. Let us know what would be a great nickname for our young phenom defender. More on him here in a minute, but I want to start at the top. We'll work through a couple players. And then I want to spend a specific amount of time on 2 of them. One of them,
can we do Afro Main like we did Aquaman?
Oh, I mean,
Mississippi. A little Mississippi there.
I saw him at the boathouse in Myrtle Beach one time, and it was.
Did he slap a woman on stage when you saw him?
No, but it was just debauchery. I didn't stay very long. It was plum debauchery. But anyway. Last night, we got vintage Luke Kennard. We got Luke Kennard, Mr. Ohio Luke Kennard. We got Duke Luke Kennard. Luke finished 7 for 11 from 3 last night with 23 points in 26 minutes. The definition of on fire. Like Luke, the basket looked a mile wide to Luke last night. He just absolutely filled it up. And this is what we've been wanting from Luke all along. When he shoots 3 or 4 threes, it's frustrating as hell, man. We don't get anything like that. Then he'll go out and shoot 11 last night and make 7 of them. And it's like, dude, if you do this every time, I will champion you to stay on my basketball team.
Yeah, he was really good last night. He was shooting fireballs. And I felt like this is kind of where I feel like last night was somewhere I felt like I saw something different and I really want to monitor it going forward. So I'm just going to tell you guys what I think I saw. And then we'll just kind of all watch it together and see how it plays out. But it seemed like they dialed back the communist offense and went with a more, I called it last night on the Grizz 901 postgame show, a democratic offense, a merit-based offense. Yeah. And I felt like I saw a lot more pick and roll last night. I felt like I saw a lot more 4 out, especially when and I feel like that's why Edey got more touches earlier in the game is because he was sealing and they were feeding him from the wing. It wasn't cutting. It wasn't burying him in the corner. It wasn't motion. It was just Edey went, sat on the block, and made himself wide and was fed in, had a post-entry pass from the wing, and he got to his hook shots and whatnot. Like, that's not an aspect of the communist offense, as I call it. And so I felt like last night, and this is the reason why I was really trying. You see, if you're in the comments, you saw Daniel. I employed Daniel this morning to try to help me find single game pick and roll percentages because the Grizzlies are last in the league. They were at 8.2% of pick and roll of plays, including a pick and roll in the NBA, which is dead last by a long shot. And I did notice that when I checked it this morning, they're like almost 10%, which makes me think that there was a lot more pick and rolls last night, but I just wanted the numbers.
Yeah.
Couldn't find it.
You're not wrong because our shot dispersion definitely shrunk last night. Your stars got the most shots. Obviously, Luke took a bunch because he was hot. Jaren had 18 field goals last night. You kind of saw it shrink down to this, like to our stars, and they benefit from it. I want to say this quote from Zach Edey from the DeMichael Cole article that came out has been a bit concerning just around his fit in the offense. Like he looked the part last night with the Batman, nose mask on, and he looked menacing last night. But his skill set is being criminally mismanaged, in my opinion. Probably a product of the offense, but why we drafted Zach Edey for people to make a plan for him, and then we don't ever use him in that way. He's talking about I'm cutting more than I've ever had to. He is. I'm out in space more than I've ever been. So there's clearly he's trying to find his place in this offense when we could have had a guy like Khalil Ware that would have been a much better fit being an athletic big. I'm frustrated. It's kind of like there's a lot of layers to this with the usage of Zach Edey, because right now he like you have said many times, he can't catch, he can't hold on to a basketball, he can't tip out offensive rebounds like Steve-O used to, because you never know where they're going to go. He's also weak as well water, as my papa would say. Anybody that like ties him up with a basketball can take it away from him. Literally anybody. He is the weakest big man I've ever seen, and I just don't know how to wrap my head around the product I've seen from Zach Edey so far.
Yeah, and listen, I've been out on him. I mean, I wasn't a fan, and neither were you when we drafted him.
No.
But we are not out on Zach Edey. I feel like I am extremely critical and have been basically all season of what Zach Edey does to this in this offense. I don't like it, but I'm not out on Zach Edey as a player. I'm out on him this season. But what you see is things that you see with a lot of players when they make the jump into the NBA, especially if you play a long career in college where the biggest guy you're going up against is maybe 6'9", and like you've said before, you're going against a lot of accountants and overseas players, and you've made a college career. You had a career in college playing against these guys, and he's just constantly bringing the ball down around his hips, and they're just allowing people to knock it away. He's constantly unable to just secure a basketball. And you would think with the size of mitts he's got, he's wearing 2 first baseman's mitts on his wrists, and he can't catch it. And so a lot of this thing is going to come. My problem is just how he clogs up the offense. And so if the Grizzlies go away from the communist offense and go to a more
traditional
democratic offense, a merit-based offense, I think they're with the cut down of some of all the motion, it's easier for him to cut out a few plays for him, but he's not going to fit in the offense. And I felt like last night you saw the Grizzlies go away from the communist offense a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if that gets some more post-ups for him, that'd be great. But right here, I mean, even though Wayno can't spell savior right, because overseas they put that U in there for some reason, a lot of these words, but he's not going to be a savior for us. He's a rookie. We got to stop looking at him that way. Cousin Kirk also brings up the point that he's softer than 10 ply toilet paper. And so there's some things he needs to work on. Like I've said, he needs to get in the gym. He needs to get downtown and eat. Cookie Canucks is right there. Eat some burgers. Go to Ronda or go to Texas State Brazil and just eat until you just plumb full. Like, he needs to get some bulk to him because he gets pushed around an awful lot for a guy who's 7 foot forever.
Yeah, and that's fine. I see Daniel Greer says that DeMichael's got a story out talking about the long-term goals of Zach Edey, and I'm going to read this as soon as it's over. But I stand by it. Like, he's just not cut out for the getting closing minutes in a playoff run this year, which is the only thing that I care about.
Yeah, but real quick, going to Jalen, we're going to talk to him more here in a minute. This is a solid nickname. It speaks to my 90s video game nerd. Sub-Zero was one of the best Mortal Kombat characters, one of the best finishers. Sub-Zero is an early favorite for a Jalen Wells nickname. That's strong, King Meeks. That's strong. But Edey is what he is. Ja Morant is one that needs to be celebrated, though. Ja Morant moved into a tie for second place last night with the most games with 10-plus assists in Grizzly history. Jason Williams has 70. Mike Conley and Ja Morant are tied at 69. Pause. And so it's nice to see him getting hype for his passing ability, the way he elevates players around him. That little behind the back pass to Jay Huff for that 3 at the top of the 3 at the top of the key, the way he can see the floor in slow motion in midair and find a cutter or somebody open is just mind-boggling.
I really appreciated the behind-the-back pass and transition that he threw to the Grizzlies bench last night, too.
Also that one, too, yeah. Where Desmond was, not where he is, but where he was.
Right. Listen, I love the Memphis Grizzlies. You love the Memphis Grizzlies. Everybody in here loves the Memphis Grizzlies. So if you just allow me a minute to be a realist, it's not exactly the most decorated history of past first point guards in the Grizzlies organization.
Come on, bro.
The fact that Ja Morant is, I believe he's top 6 or 7 in Grizzlies scoring all time.
We're a small sample size.
He's going to be the greatest Memphis Grizzlies player of all time. If he's not already. He's going to lead all statistical categories. And I'm not saying it's not anything you shouldn't be proud of.
Buzzkill.
What
a buzzkill. What a buzzkill. I'm celebrating you, John Morant. I know you listen to this show. You watch us on Twitter. John Morant, congratulations. Had another 10-plus assist game last night. Double-double last night for our point guard. 16 points, 13 assists to 3 turnovers? How many turnovers he had last night? He had 5 turnovers last night.
He lost interest in the game last night.
Everybody checked out in the second half. But John Morant is to be celebrated for the maturation of his game this year. We don't get the high-flying, athleticism that we used to. Matter of fact, we got dunks from Jalen Wells and Luke Kennard, not John Morant last night. He gave one up, a nice behind-the-back pass to J-Huff for the reverse dunk. John Morant's game is truly growing, and it's fun to see that mature.
King Meeks in the comments he's got a running leaderboard between who's the favorite between me and Rusty that he's been doing all show long, and he says I'm now a distant cousin on his daddy's side, which let me tell you what, I don't know what your daddy looks like, but I don't think it's like me.
But speaking of our big three, we've talked about Ja. Desmond Bane has really quieted a lot of the doubters and haters over the last month of the season. Desmond has been on an absolute tear. I think it's 6 straight games with 20-plus points. He has been absolutely cooking. He's found his shot. He's found his place in the offense. He continues to perform. He had a 31-point game not that long ago. He has just been on a tear. Desmond is back how he used to be. His defense has been carrying him this year when his offense has let him down. And now it's caught back up. And you see it a lot, Drew. In my mind, and I don't have any data to back this up, it's just a feeling, is I feel like a lot of times, like Desmond played the entirety of the first quarter. And I feel like a lot of times you get Ja and Jaren staggered, but you get more times where Desmond is on the floor by himself than you do some of the other big three. I think in order, in my mind, it feels like it's Desmond, Jaren, and Ja. And that just shows the trust that this coaching staff has. And this is an absolute great point. That trade Bane, those guys have gone really, really quiet over the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah. People who are on the trade Bane bandwagon should have been quiet the whole time. Like the fact that those people, I'm sure that they have just decided to hate something else. Like I've seen people hate Jaren Jackson Jr. and I've seen people hate lots of things, but they just move on to something else stupid to hate. But yeah, the Desmond Bane was always going to come back around. He's too good of a player. I mean, we've seen it for too long. Like he's amazing. He stepped right back up into the third role of this team where he belongs. I still believe that the gap has widened between him and Jaren Jackson Jr., but that's Jaren Jackson Jr. improving, not Dez going the other way. So yeah, he's been absolutely amazing this last stretch run, and I expect him to just continue to do that. Everybody's got a slump, and when you shoot as many threes as he does, if he goes into a shooting slump, it looks worse than somebody who doesn't shoot a lot of threes that goes through a shooting slump. And you've got to factor in the fact that he was learning a new offense and missed a lot of time, due to injury. So yeah, it's fine. He's fine.
I think there's a lot of layers to it, right? He had the back injury, then he had the oblique injury, then it was a new offense, and he had to find his spot ups and his shots here and there. And it was a struggle for him early, but he has come all the way around, and it's back to where when Desmond shoots, I think it's going in. It's not a question anymore to me. When I see Desmond open or creating a shot, I just assume it's going to go in. And that midi was working last night. Like his mid-range game was really, really good. He hit that floater a couple times at the rim. Desmond looks the part of our third option. Like you said, I think that Jaren is widening the gap between him and Desmond. I think based on performance this year, again, in a vacuum, John Morant is our best player, is our superstar. Jaren is encroaching on Ja's performance this year with just the buckets he's getting. But that's not a knock against Desmond Bane. It's more on how Jaren's improved.
Yeah. I'm in total agreement with you. Everybody's freaking out in the comments. That was my 10-year-old daughter that was checking on my 3-year-old daughter at my request, because I'm pretty sure she was knocking on the door, wondering why she couldn't get out of the door a minute ago. So I was like, hey, go check it out.
Astronomo is one of the guys that's been on trading Desmond Bane. He still is, man. And you talk about Desmond can't play defense. Desmond leads the NBA in 2-point percentage as a defender amongst all guards. And
Listen,
Desmond Bane is worth $34 million. He's worth being on this team, brother. Like you, between your trading Bane and Drew's Luke Kennard Island, there are some wild takes out there.
No, I think you mean Jake Laravia Island. And
whatever I said.
And I still get misquoted on that. He just doesn't suck. Okay. Listen, the thing about Desmond Bane is, and I don't know what Astronoma wants. Like, I'd be curious to know what he would consider an upgrade. Probably like Kyle Kuzma, if he cares that much about, I don't know, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
But the thing that you've got to realize is that not everybody, we're not trying to put together the 85 Bears here.
Yeah.
Like, we're not trying to put together you've got Jaren Jackson Jr. as a backline defender who is absolutely elite as a backline defender. If you just force things to Jaren Jackson Jr., then you're going to be an amazing defensive team. And so when you're looking at Ja and Dez, like, yeah, they're not the best defenders, but if you make life difficult and at worst funnel things towards 13 at the goal, like, you're fine. You've got the guy now. You've got the guy. You got Jalen Wells and you've got Vince Williams Jr. coming back. Those are your superstar defenders.
Yeah.
It's not ever going to be Bane, and that's fine.
That's fine. Although at the end of that Minnesota game, who was contesting the Anthony Edwards 3 at the top of the key? It was one Desmond Bane with help from Jaren Jackson Jr. And so, yeah, like, that's not his role. No, I wouldn't put him on the best offensive player because I don't have to. But in crunch time, would I give him the ball with the chance to take a shot for the lead? Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's not my first option, but if he's on the floor and he's got a good look, I want him taking that shot more often than not.
Yeah. Astronoma doesn't know how this works, I don't think.
I
think he's a communist too. He wants everybody paid the same.
Yeah,
that's not how this
ain't 2K, man. This ain't 2K salary caps, right? You can't just force things to happen.
This is a democratic system, and Desmond Bane has earned his right to be the highest paid Memphis Grizzly player for now.
For now.
And
that's been a change.
Boy, I hate, he doesn't come in ours, but on the Grizz 901, there's a guy that hates Jaren Jackson Jr.
so much.
And you just wait till Jaren Jackson Jr. is making $65 million after this year.
Oh, my God.
When he signs this new contract, and he's going to get up to like the $65-70 million contract. And he's that dude's going to quit watching basketball.
As Jaren is playing at an all-NBA level. But speaking of earning things, Jalen Wells has earned the right to lead the NBA freaking rookie ladder. And it's just, at this point, it is comical that they won't put him on there, that they keep him stuck at position 3. Every time they post it, his little arrow is sideways when you have, Misi going up and then Misi going down. Then you have Stephon Castle going up and going down. And then you got Sarr going up and going down. When Jalen leads all rookies in games plays, games started, minutes per game, points, 3-point percentage, like, he just continues to be the best rookie in this class. In the NBA cannot wrap their head around the fact that the 39th overall pick is the best player in this previous season's draft. Jalen's just like, he's the guy. Like, his moxie and savvy as a rookie already to be the guy that everybody in the comment, DG, Wayno, Kenny, us on the show are saying we don't need Desmond to defend their best player because a rookie Jalen Wells can do it. You also have a second-year player in Vince Williams Jr. that's coming back that can do it. But the fact that we're already putting Jalen in those conversations and, like, running out Jalen to defend Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball and these guys that are buckets, and the fact that, yes, there have been games where he has struggled, LeBron James and Luka, but they put everybody in a blender. But the fact that more often than not, Steph Curry had a miserable game with Jalen Wells on him. The fact that we have a rookie that is doing this is absolutely wild. Wells can't do it in the playoff, in my mind, is what Astronomo says. We don't know that. Like, the kid is completely calm. He's completely cool. He's going to hit a rookie wall, and rookies don't perform typically well in the playoffs, but he's not performing like a typical rookie.
Yeah, I don't necessarily see a rookie wall defensively with Jalen Wells, and that's where you're going to want him to show up in the playoffs. Does he lose minutes to Vince Williams Jr.? Probably.
Yes.
But you're not asking as much out of Jalen Wells at that time, but I'm also not expecting, if he hits a rookie wall shooting, you've seen him struggle shooting in the past, but it never affected his defense.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, is the most important thing when you look at mindset, you look at moxie, and Jalen Wells is another one of those guys who spent 3 or 4 years in college, he's not an 18-year-old kid. Like, I think he's going to be able to handle it just fine. And if he does go through it, I don't expect it to be a long one. But you're talking about rookie of the years. So, there's no reason he shouldn't be rookie of the year, at least top of the ladder, because he's on the 3 seed in the West, the top, 8 to 10 team in the NBA. And he's starting virtually every game, and he's locking down defenders. He's got a good 3-point shooting percentage. His points per game is fine, and there's no obvious person to put ahead of him.
Yeah.
But if you look at the last time a second round pick was rookie of the year, it was Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm Brogdon was the 36th pick of the NBA draft. So Jalen Wells is 39, right? The 39th pick. In that draft, the Malcolm Brogdon draft, the number 1 pick was Ben Simmons. The number 2 pick was Brandon Ingram. The number 3 pick was Jaylen Brown. Like, I don't remember their rookie seasons.
Yeah.
But Jalen Wells is not going up against talent like that. Like, we're talking Messi, and we're talking Alex Sarr. Like, I don't really want to hear it, because I also don't respect empty stats on bad teams. But I don't think Alex Sarr's even putting up stats on a bad team.
He's not. And Messi did it for like 2 weeks, and then he fell off. Like, the best one has been like Stephon Castle has an opportunity to do that, but like, because the Spurs are playing better basketball. But again, he's a wash because he's on a team with Wemby, and he's not going to get the hype. But Jalen is stepping up and playing really, really well. Like you said, a lot of these guys don't even remember their rookie season. And Jalen Wells is being talked about in people who know basketball in a very high regard. Other podcasts, other shows that are much better than ours are talking about him in a very high regard, seeing his ceiling being a lot higher than we anticipated. I think Wayno talks about it. It's absolutely right. I think he's going to be a permanent, or at least a consistent starter on this team within the next 2 years. And you think about it, yes, he's older. He played 4 years in college, but he still is adapting to the NBA. His body's going to change. He's going to fill out more. He's going to get more athletic. He's going to adapt to the professional game. And then who knows what his limit will be at that point, because like, he's got a lot of maturing still left to do.
We've got a possibility to be really big. Very rangy, and which is not something I saw going into like last season. But you start thinking about a lineup, because obviously John's going to be your one, but then you could, if you wanted to go with a big lineup, you could go Jalen, Gigi, Jaren, Zach Edey, and that is like, that's an average height of like 6'9", 6'10" for a 5-man unit, and so I really like Jalen Wells. I think I'm ready to pump the brakes in aspects of Jalen Wells, and we need to remember that he's a rookie. But if you're just ranking him amongst rookies, there's no way he's not number 1.
Yeah, I mean, he's not like an all-NBA type player right now, but he is the best rookie, and it's not even close. DG's talking about the way we smell. I smell like success over here. He may smell like rich mahogany. I smell like success. Level up, DG. Level up. This beard is lush. Is what it is. It smells good. Maggie said the other day, I got a new oil for it. She said it smelled like the dentist, and I didn't love that. So we're trying to revamp the beard game here. But
just get rid of it and see what happens.
Oh God, no! I've had a beard since I was like 20 years old. Like, there's no freaking way.
When I met you, you had a goatee. Which, if you think Rusty's funny looking now, the more he can cover up, the better. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And so y'all are welcome for this. Otherwise, it'd be like a child up here on your screen. But I think the Memphis Grizzlies are in a good spot. We're heading into the weekend. There are things coming up, trending our way. As far as the schedule goes, we got a couple good games coming up this weekend before we hit some teeth again. And so with that, Drew, we got one more final segment for y'all before we wrap up this show. Again, the Memphis Grizzlies have 2 games this weekend. I will be at both of them. Friday night against the Pelicans. It's the first time in my career I'm doing a back-to-back. So Friday night is one of my season pass games. And then every year for Christmas, I get my nephew's tickets to a Grizzlies game. And this year, it happened to fall on this Saturday. It was the only Saturday they had available. And so I'm going Saturday to the Utah game. And I'm excited about that because as a surprise for them, I was able to get shoot-around access. So we're going to get down to the floor. Super stoked about that. Hoping that we can get a couple autographs, maybe get close to some of the players. It would be awesome to see what what comes from that, but create some memories with them. So all that to say, we have two very winnable basketball games this weekend against the lowly Pelicans and the Utah Jazz that are in the middle of failing for flag. Any thoughts about those games this weekend, Uncle Buck? As you're muted.
Sorry, my dog was going crazy outside. We're getting new neighbors, and I think they just backed a U-Haul up in here. And yeah, I'm proud of my dog, though. Oh, Ted, instill fear. I want their first impression to be fear of us.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to see me and be like, that's not anything to be scared of. But, so the Pelicans, I mean, listen, you should beat them. CJ McCollum may get traded. I don't think anybody gets traded before then, but just go beat them. It needs to be a business-like mindset. I don't want to see us drop any games against teams that we're less than. Continue playing basketball, continue winning against teams that you should beat, win convincingly, and then the teams that are peers of you, be able to close out close games. And, that's the recipe of success going forward for me. I think that applies to Utah as well. Except for Utah, I'm on the John Collins Sexton train here. I want to – and I may rather have Colin Sexton than John Collins. I covet both of those players. And so, we talked about it a lot when Cam Johnson came and Brooklyn played in FedEx Forum. I was like, wouldn't it be cool if at halftime they just worked out the trade and they just crossed paths and changed jerseys and sat down on the other team's bench? But that's what I would like to see out of the Utah game. I really want Colin Sexton. I really like John Collins, and I'd like to see that trade go down.
Agreed. And it'd be nice to do that before our game on Monday, the day before we actually talk again. When you talk about teams that are our peers, we go to Madison Square Garden to face off against the New York Knicks, one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. We've had a lot of success, including last night against the Eastern Conference. And so you've got 2 tune-up games to stay healthy, get some minutes in, handle your business, and then we have a barometer game on Monday. Because, yes, they're not one of the Western Conference teams that we could face in the playoffs, but that's one of the better teams in the NBA. They're 29-16. We're 29-15. Playing Monday night in Madison Square Garden will be a great opportunity for us to see where we stand after this road, this recent winning streak against teams that are a little bit subpar.
Yeah, I look forward to that game. I kind of wish that was a national TV game. Not that I would watch the national TV broadcast, but the Grizzlies going to Madison Square Garden is a fun game. That's something that I feel like it's must-see TV for most people would consider it must-see TV. Top 3 seeds in both conferences. I think New York is 3rd still in the Eastern Conference. And, they're a team that's going to try to slow you down a little bit too. Brunson loves the pick and roll. I did some pick and roll research today. At the top of every category is Jalen Brunson. In amount of times he is the dribbler on pick and roll and the efficiency in which he operates, the scoring percentage he operates within the pick and roll. And then you got Cat, who's just had an absolute career renaissance with the Knicks. And so it'll be fun. I love watching the Grizzlies go and play in Madison Square Garden. I believe it's the only arena for me that the arena itself matters. Madison Square Garden is special, not Staples Center, not Boston Garden, TD Garden. Madison Square Garden is the mothership.
And Ja plays brightest on the brightest stages. And so I'm excited to see what he can come up with, whether it's another 360 layup, some of the passes he does. Watching Ja on that stage is going to be fun to watch. So I talked about what I'm doing. Are y'all doing anything this weekend besides watching basketball?
So my wife is going to Huntsville, Alabama with our daughter, the one that made a cameo a minute ago, to a concert. That's her Christmas present that's getting paid off this Friday night. So I'll be Mr. Mom in it again Friday night, and then hopefully we just lay low Saturday. That's what I hope that we do. I got some stuff now that it's warming up a little bit that I would like to do. And so, but I'm not going outside if it's below 32. It just ain't happening.
I think it is finally starting to warm up. We survived the polar vortex. All my friends in Myrtle Beach survived the snowpocalypse where they got 6 inches of snow on the East Coast. And I'm like, man, the whole time I lived there, we got a half inch one time, and then we get 6 inches after I leave. But I was happy for them to see some of those videos and posts coming. So everybody,
typically what happens with you, isn't it?
Apparently. But that's going to do it for our show today. Before that divulges any further, thank y'all for being here. Astronomo, DG, Kenny, Wayno, King Meeks, thank y'all for being in the comments, talking shop with us. We love that y'all hang out with us on y'all's lunch breaks and give us opportunities to talk and be buffoons and get fired up and get spicy and give you our opinions on a lot of wide-ranging issues for which there are no refunds. Uncle Buck.
That's right, because with the $2, you always get what you pay for. Have a good weekend, guys.
Thank you for listening to the $2 Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of all things Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next time.